Why did you not accept that?
I had made my decision. I went and I told him that I was resigning last week. And he tried to talk me out of it and promised me a front bench position. And I went away and I considered that. We went back and we had discussions again on Friday, at which I told him that no, I hadn't changed my mind, in which case he tried to convince me again. I went away and I considered that over the weekend, and this morning I decided that no, I was still going to go ahead with my decision.
And why did the offer of a front bench role, which presumably is something that you've been looking for, expecting perhaps, why was that not enough to dissuade you from going ahead with this?
Because I hadn't been looking for it, nor had I been expecting it, nor had I looked when I went into politics for such a role. All I asked for was for an input, and it was very clear, and I made it clear in the beginning. The reason why I was getting into politics was because of the economic collapse, and that what I wanted to do was to try and help him with regard to economic policy formation. You don't have to be on the front bench for that. I wasn't looking for an egotistical position on the front bench or anything like that. I was looking to get involved in terms of policy formation.
That would have been your opportunity to have an input, wouldn't it?
But it came at a point when I had decided I was going. It came too late. Too little,
but you
too
said
late.
you decided this morning to finally resign.
Well, obviously, when I give in the resignation letter is the final decision, but I had decided last Tuesday, and I told him last Tuesday that I was going.
But you made an offer, and you said that you did give it some consideration, and it was an opportunity for you to have an input after just 8 months as an elected representative, an opportunity to have an input into party policy.
Well, just to correct you, when he obviously suggested to me that he would put me on the front bench, but that wasn't what I was considering. What I was considering was the case that he put to me about the role that I could play in the future, not the front bench as such. The front bench was what he thought I wanted. What I wanted was an input into policy over the last number of years. Remember that when I decided to go into politics, the economy was collapsing. In the last 9 months, we've had 437,000 people on the dole. We've had 60,000 young people emigrate. We've had a complete collapse of our public finances. We've had the banking crisis go from bad to worse. Throughout all of that period, I had zero impact, influence or otherwise in Fine Gael's policies. I think I know what way the land is lying.
Because you were a wet week in Dáil Éireann, that's why.
It wasn't about me being in Dáil Éireann. I'd entered politics to play a role in relation to economic policy formation. That's all I wanted. I didn't say I wanted a front bench position. That's what he offered me. I wanted the role in influencing the policy. In the 9 months that I was there, I found that it was impossible to do that. That's why I'm going, because I can see what way the land was lying.
Impossible because whatever attempts you made to have an input were rebuffed. Was that the case? You were shut out?
I felt shut out from the policy formation process as such. I think I would have had much more influence if I hadn't been a TD in relation to the policies in Fine Gael. And I think that that's not right. I went to the electorate seeking a mandate because of the collapse of the economy. I said to them quite clearly in relation to public meetings and otherwise that I wanted to help in with regard to that. I wasn't able to help, nor was I enabled to participate in that. And when I decided after 9 months in relation to my dealings with the party that I had made up my mind about that and I wouldn't be dishonest with the electorate and pretend that I was holding a seat to do that job, they presented me with an offer.
You received, I think, what was it, 27,000 votes, an extraordinary first preference vote in the by-election. Those people reposed in you their confidence and their trust to represent them in the national parliament, and tonight you're telling them that after less than a year you're walking away.
Those people were very aware that I was going to be straight with regard to economic policy, and that was the big thing that I was getting involved in politics for. There was no point, and there is no point, pretending to those people that I was playing that role. I hadn't been playing that role. I wasn't being given the opportunity to play that role, and I had grave doubts about whether or not in the future I would be given that role.
But you were saying that you would be a voice for them in Dáil Éireann. You were asked by me, among others, was there a deal in advance of your nomination? Were you expecting a front bench position? And you said, in the case of this interview, I have a formal role now from the people of South Dublin to represent them. That is the role I'm looking for. That's the role I've got. And that's the role I intend to carry out. Now, that's a commitment which tonight you're going back on.
Absolutely. I did intend to carry out that role. That is absolutely right. The fact is that in trying to carry out that role, I knew in my heart and in my soul that I was not being enabled to play that role. I'm not into faking it or a charade. At the end of the day, Fine Gael came looking for me. Fine Gael saw the mandate those people gave me. Those people gave me a mandate to institute change, to get involved in economic policy. I'm not going to fool them, and I'm not going to take for granted their mandate and start playing around with it. I wasn't allowed to do that job. They gave me the mandate to do it. I'm going back to tell them it's up.
All right. Finally, you've been a member of Fine Gael for 9 months. You've had the opportunity to observe Enda Kenny close up, as it were. Would he be a good Taoiseach?
I don't know. That's for other people to say. I've now left the party.
What do you say? What do you think?
I've left the party now, and I think it's up to other people to decide whether or not he'd be a good Taoiseach.
Well, you're a citizen. You'll have a vote in the next election. What's your judgment?
Well, I'm not going to comment on that. I think at the end of the day, leadership is about choices. In relation to the choice he made with regard to how I was used over the last 9 months, he made the wrong choice. He misjudged me. I am not there to be used just for my celebrity or for drawing a crowd. I wanted to be there to contribute on economic policy. It didn't happen, and it's over.
George Lee, thanks for talking to us.
He gave it
the road safety